Good morning, boys and girls, and welcome to History Lesson 151. Today, we're going to start with a review of your presidents. Okay, you have a few more days, and then we'll take these pictures down, and hopefully you know how to, you know them in order without the picture. Okay, so practice with me.
Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, Adams, Jackson, Buchanan, Harrison, Tyler, Polk, and Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, Johnson, Grant, and Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, Roosevelt, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, and Clinton, George W. Bush, Obama.
Remember, Trump is our president now. Okay, boys and girls, let's do a review. Remember, Hirohito and Tojo were the leaders during World War II of what country? Excellent. Japan. Mussolini was the leader of what country during World War II? Italy. Excellent. And Stalin? Good. Russia. And how about Hitler? Germany. Very good. And FDR, or Franklin Delano Roosevelt? I call him FDR for short. The United States. And Churchill, Winston Churchill. Great Britain. Very good. Here we go. What was the reason that U.S. entered the World War II? Do you remember? Not World War I, World War II. Excellent. Oh, that didn't happen. That didn't come out. What happened there? What was the reason? All right. Pearl Harbor was bombed. Very good. And what do we call the day that fighting stopped in Europe? V-Day. And the invasion of this country, which is Poland, is what started World War II. Okay. Don't forget Poland. Many of you answered that incorrectly the last time. All right. The fighting stopped in Africa first and then in Germany. But when it came to Japan, remember we talked yesterday, they didn't give up. And in fact, they had those fighter planes. Remember, we called them kamikazes. In our last lesson, we talked about the U.S. troops. We made a big decision to bomb Hiroshima and Nagasaki, right, in Japan. And they finally decided to give up. But when the war ended and we went over to Germany and Russia, over back to Europe, we found those concentration camps which were amazingly horrible, devastating. Okay, so yeah, that was right after the war ended, after that V-Day. And the dropping of those bombs was 1941 on December 7th. We're going to talk today about a few things. I want to go back. There we go. So you don't see those slides right now. Let's talk a little bit about what happened when the war was over, right? So we have Franklin Delano Roosevelt. He was the president. And if you remember, another president did this with the United Nations, with the League of Nations. But now Franklin Delano Roosevelt had an idea that he thought that science was going to bring the nations together, that they were going to stop fighting because of science. But boys and girls, remember that the only thing that brings people together is what? Very good. That's God, and the word of God brings people together. The love of Jesus Christ is what brings people together. So Roosevelt had this idea, this United Nations. Unfortunately, Roosevelt did wind up passing. He died during this time. His vice president was Truman, and he became the president now. So when Roosevelt died in Germany, there was a city in Berlin, right? In this, okay, let me start again. There was a city in Germany that they wound up splitting. So here's the story. When the war was over, all the countries that had been taking over during the war, right? We took them back over, United States and Great Britain and Germany. So what happened was this city in Germany, the countries got splitted. And Germany got half of the country went, half of Germany, I'm sorry, half of Germany went to United States and Great Britain. And we both decided that we were going to let those people be free. It was going to be a free country, right? But the people who got the other half of Germany was the Soviet Union. Remember, that's Russia. Remember also that Russia was a communist country, okay? And communists don't believe in that freedom. So Russia, a communist country, they have the city of Berlin. Now, Berlin, because it was halfway through Germany, they split it. So Germany on this half was free because they belonged to us and to Great Britain. And this side of Germany belonged to the Soviet Union, which was not free. They didn't have freedom. So that city that's right in the middle, that's kind of on that line between freedom and not freedom, that was the city of Berlin. And what would happen is that they decided that they were going to build a wall to separate, okay? Separate people freedom and non-freedom, so that the people who were not free had this wall. And what would happen is people who wanted to be free but were not would try to climb the wall. And what do you think they did to those people? Yeah, they shot them. They killed them. So that was in 1960 was when that Berlin Wall was put up. It wasn't until about 1990 when they took that wall down. And so go ahead and read those pages on the next few pages, 218 and 219. You're going to read about this Berlin situation. And tomorrow we're going to go into the Korean War. We're going to switch over to the Korean War. So, but just remember that the World War II was the longest war. So let's go ahead and we'll sign off for today, and we'll see you back for lesson 152 tomorrow. You guys have a great day, and we'll see you tomorrow.